between Dom and his radishes, Lieutenant. This better be good.
Epic Games has released Delta Squad's swan song and with Gears of War 3, and unlike some other franchises that seem to keep leaving inroads for themselves to keep going after the story has supposedly ended, Gears of War 3 definitely ends the tales of Marcus Phoenix and his troops of Delta Squad in a satisfying way that answers almost all the lingering questions left over from the last two games. Without getting too deep into spoilers, the story of Gears 3 is set 2 years after Gears 2. The COG is disbanded and what's left of humanity is struggling to survive in small outposts or afloat on whatever ships are seaworthy. Marcus learns early that his father is still alive and that his father holds the key to ending the Lambent threat along with the Locust threat.
He's not gonna make it.
I heard Prescott. Tell me that's just my old head injury?
Prescott? What, do we got an echo here or something? Yeah, Prescott's back, Michelson's dead, and my father's alive. Film at 11.
From here, you're taken on a decently long journey to the grand finale of Gears of War 3. Playing through Gears 3 is very similar to the previous two games. The stop-and-pop cover mechanic that Gears popularized is back, all the weapons you've come to know are back, with only a few new additions, and co-op is back. Although this time you can play with up to 3 friends, not just the one from previous games. Suffice to say, if you weren't a fan of Gears of War's gameplay, you still won't be, and fans of it will jump right in and be stop-and-popping right away.
You fucked up my tomatoes, you asshole!
The campaign mode is a lot of fun with a decent story. Unfortunately, it still does suffer from the AI of your teammates being a bit hit or miss. While sometimes they are spot on, helping you take down enemies and reviving you when you go down, there are other times the AI will run ahead for no reason, decide to run up and chainsaw enemies instead of helping you up when you're down and you're right next to them, or various other idiocies that have always plagued the Gears of War series. The campaign is also just more fun with friends. Co-op really is the only way to go. For one, it increases the challenge by making enemies tougher and more accurate. It also lets you devise different strategies for each area depending on what weapons everyone has. In addition, there's an arcade mode for campaign. This allows for scoring to be added to the campaign. What this enables you to do is not only play co-op, but also have some friendly competition while doing it. Then of course there's the Gears of War multiplayer modes. There's the pretty standard team-based competitive modes returning, plus Team Deathmatch out of the box, where each team has 15 respawns. While the competitive modes have been made a little more accessible to new players with a lot of weapon rebalancing, if you were already good at Gears or Gears 2 multiplayer, you'll still be good at Gears 3's competitive games. Overall though, there's not a lot of changes made to the competitive modes. This means if you love the modes, you will still love them, but if you wanted something new, well, it's really not going to be there. Also, to get rid of complaints about host advantage and other such that plague Gears and Gears 2, Epic has set up all non-private matches on dedicated servers. This change has been immediately noticeable to almost everyone I know who plays, and it's a welcome change. The popular Horde mode returns from Gears 2, with some nice upgrades that really help teams focus on teamwork over trying to lone wolf everything. Horde 2.0 brings a Fortress Siege mechanic to play, allowing you to earn money for kills or assists that is then spent on building up things to help your team to have an easier time in dealing with the 50 waves of enemies. Barriers, turrets, decoys, and eventually powered armor with heavy weapons are all able to be built to help your team to victory. An interesting change with the money mechanic is that weapons that spawn on the map cost money to pick up, as do ammo boxes, while weapons dropped from enemies are fair game to everyone. You can even buy your way back into the fight if you have the cash and get killed. A new co-op mode has also been added, called Beast. Beast mode is essentially a reverse Horde mode, where you will play as the Locust trying to kill off the humans, but with a twist. This is a time attack mode. The initial timer is set at 1 minute, with extra time granted for every time you or a friend kills a human or destroys part of their fortification. Because of the time attack aspect, this mode requires heavy teamwork to be successful. Going through Beast with friends and earning the ability to unlock different types of Locust or Lambent is a blast. The Unreal Engine 3 has also seen a pretty big overhaul for Gears of War 3. The most noticeable changes are in the lighting effects and facial animations, both of which have seen vast improvements over previous versions of the engine. Textures are also improved overall, even though there still can be some texture pop in at times. But the speed at which Gears 3 moves, along with the better textures, lighting, and animations, make this the best looking Unreal Engine 3 game to date. Add in the sheer immensity of unlockable weapon skins, character models, medals, and titles to go with them, and Gears of War 3's multiplayer modes, whether competitive or cooperative, will have a long, long lifespan ahead of them. Unfortunately, not everything is perfect in Gears 3. As mentioned before, the friendly AI can be a bit hit or miss, a problem that has been with the series since its first game. There can be frame rate drops and screen tearing during cutscenes or when reaching checkpoints, again a long-standing problem. And while there has been a lot of work to rebalance weapons for competitive multiplayer, making some weapons far more useful than they were in the past, the shotgun is still going to be the go-to weapon for pretty much everyone. It still does a bit too much damage from medium range in my experience, but it also seems to be retaining the random misses at point-blank range if you aren't aiming down at sights. I found the sawed-off shotgun to be similar. While it's supposed to really only be useful at point-blank range, it also seems to be able to jib people from further than it should, or at least down them. Still, the weapon balancing is probably an ongoing process, so we're sure to see some changes in the coming months. Even with these slight hiccups to an otherwise near perfectly polished game, I cannot recommend Gears of War 3 enough, to fans of the series or fans of shooters in general. Its story comes to a very satisfying conclusion, the action feels nearly perfect in campaign or multiplayer modes, and there's simply so much for you to unlock that you could be playing this game for a long time to come.
I hear she might not be a fan.
She'll listen to you. You're the coal train. Woo woo.
Yo, the coal train don't go woo woo. It's woo!